Welcome back, everyone. It is good to see you all. This channel is really focused on getting people outside for the first time, or people that are new to the outdoors, getting them more comfortable with skill sets and gear and stuff like that. There is one topic that I have never covered. A few topics I go back and forth on and will redo or reiterate or whatever, but this is a topic I have never discussed, and I think it keeps a lot of people from adventuring outdoors for longer than a couple of hours. And it's one that on WFA classes, wilderness medicine classes, people don't like talking about, even though it's something we all do, which is peeing and pooping outdoors. Now, I am perfectly comfortable talking about pee and poop in the outdoors. However, I thought that I should also get the female perspective. And so I brought in a friend of mine, a woman named Angie, who I worked with at REI Outdoor School. I am still good friends with her. I'll actually introduce her right after we roll our intro. Let's go. So as I said, Angie worked with me at REI Outdoor School. She then went off on and did her own thing. She's hiked the Appalachian Trail. She's hiked the Pacific Crest Trail. She worked as a logistics director or director of logistics for Outward Bound in Colorado. She now volunteers in search and rescue and runs her own dog walking business, which is super cool. She is one of my favorite people in the world. It may not be obvious immediately, but you will very quickly learn why her Appalachian trail name is LOL. Here's Angie. In order to prove you're a Coloradan, do you have to wear the melanzana?
You know, I put it on just for this phone call.
Did you? Okay, so here's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about, I think a holdback for a lot of people doing stuff in the outdoors more than like a couple of hours is the fear of, I'm going to have to pee or I might have to poop.
Yes.
And so I am perfectly comfortable talking about peeing and pooping in the woods.
Same.
But I do not have female genitalia. Yes. So I want to get perspective on sort of how it's different. So for instance, for starters, something I like to talk about when I teach WFA courses is, as a population, we're not comfortable talking about peeing and pooping, urinating and defecating, right? But it's pretty much the only thing we all do.
Except we breathe.
We breathe, that's true. And there are some people who have medical conditions so that they don't pee, or they don't deal with pee and they don't deal with poop. So yeah, but most of us pee and poop. And so the first thing is I want people to be more comfortable just with the concept of peeing and pooping. And I don't want that to keep people from doing stuff in the outdoors, right?
Absolutely.
So, and I'm going to preface this by saying, know your leave no trace principles. They vary depending on, to a degree, region, but a little bit environment. So like leave no trace principles in the desert are different than leave no trace principles in the mountains. Know where you're going and check what the rules and regulations are for dealing with pee and poop where you're going. So with those sorts of things out of the way, when I'm hiking on a trail and I have to pee, I walk off the trail, and I think leave no trace for the bulk of it is 200 feet or 10 minutes from the trail or water. And I unzip and I pee.
Yes.
Right?
That's, not only is that like leave no trace ethic. I don't know if I would do 10 minutes off trail, because there've been a couple of like instances. There was a lady, her trail name was Inchworm, actually, in Maine, who went a little bit off trail. I want to say it was for a bathroom. And then, unfortunately, she was a recovery a few years later. So,
I think I recall that. So the reason I said 10 minutes is that's a Knowles thing, because in Alaska, once you sort of leave where you can walk, it's so thick, you can't really get 200 feet. Yeah. And so they say, if you've walked 10 minutes, that's far enough.
That's so interesting, because the whole like search and rescue thing and people getting turned around.
Yeah.
Because of the inchworm, right?
Right.
She was great. She did a lot of things right, especially after she realized she was lost. But unfortunately, it was just a tragic thing. But I don't know if I would personally even go 10 minutes off trail from.
If it's that thick. Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, 10 minutes, like, if it's easy to walk, 10 minutes is far. But this is a situation where it's not easy to walk. And so in that situation, it's like if you're like fighting for every, foot through a thicket, 10 minutes of that is enough.
Plus, sometimes your body doesn't have.
You may not have 10 minutes. A whole other topic for a video is how come the closer you get to a bathroom, the more you have to go to the bathroom? Yeah. I don't know what that is.
That's just like if you're ever lost in the woods, drop trowel and somebody will find you.
There you go. Okay. Okay, so as a female, you walk a leave no trace appropriate distance from the trail. How does what you need to do differ from what I need to do?
Well, I feel like for peeing, there's really not much. You just drop your pants, you pee, and then you pull your pants back up.
Right.
I do carry like baby wipes. I do carry like just a $2 bandana. I'm not one of the ones that pays $20 for a Kula cloth.
I know people that swear by pee cloths, but as long as you're using something, and the correct me if I'm wrong, the reason there is that you need to be a little bit more careful with hygiene in the backcountry because women are far more likely to get UTIs than men are.
I mean, we are more likely to get
in
UTIs,
general.
For sure. I don't know if that has anything to do with the backcountry as long as you're maintaining cleanliness.
Good.
And I don't think cleanliness, like I personally have never gotten a UTI in the backcountry. But side note, I met someone last week who did not realize that Kula cloths need to be washed because they are antimicrobial. And they do.
Wash whatever your pee cloth is, let's wash it.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because they are antimicrobial. But she said that she experienced some
discomfort
because she didn't wash hers.
Yeah. Do you
wash yours if you have one?
What do you do with the bandana after you use it?
I just rinse it out and throw it on the back of my pack.
Okay.
So it can dry.
And that's what I was looking for. At some point you're rinsing it. And letting it dry. And then when you get home, you throw it in the wash.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what do you do with the baby wipes after you use them?
Pack them out.
Great. That was what I thought you were going to say, but I had to make sure you said it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Definitely.
Now, so that's peeing. Peeing is pretty easy. I will say, though, you're squatting to pee. I'm not squatting to pee. Mm-hmm. However, we're about to talk about pooping where I do squat. And when because how could you not? When I squat to poop, I do check where I am squatting. Like poison ivy is bad enough, but like sharp sticks or something like that. So just be aware of your environment. Ants. What was that?
Ants.
Ants.
Like ant beds.
Yeah, no good.
That kind of thing.
Okay, so again, now let's talk about pooping. Assuming you have checked with leave no trace and all. For me, the standard is the same 10 minutes or 200 feet from trail or water, and then digging a cat hole 6 to 8 inches down. Really what we're looking for is mineral soil, which is darker than the soil near the surface. But I think about like, I don't have a Nalgene bottle, like the size and like imagine a hole that would fit an Nalgene bottle, a standard Nalgene bottle. Squat over it, poop. I would be willing to bet I'm fairly limber. I would bet there are people who have a hard time squatting like that.
Yes.
Oh, you know what I've done on Noel's kayaking courses? We bring one of those shovels.
Squat over a shovel?
No, but use the shovel to dig the hole. But then what I always did with it was jam it into the ground in front of where I'm going to squat because you can hold on to it, which I guess you could do with a trekking pole if you have a trekking pole. Or
a tree.
Or a tree. Absolutely. Or a tree. Okay. Here's where we get problematic. Do you bring baby wipes to use to?
Yes.
You do. Okay. I historically have brought toilet paper. Do you pack out those baby wipes?
Absolutely.
You are.
So,
you are so good.
Yeah, I don't take multi-purpose, right? Like, as far as a backpacking, lightweight thing, I never take toilet paper because of the fact that when it gets wet, it's absolutely useless.
That is something that we haven't talked about, is that the toilet paper got wet on day 2.
But I brought wipes.
On the rocks
taking a new meaning.
Yeah, on the rocks really is taking on a new meaning. That's very good, Ish.
Baby wipes only get more useful when they get wet. I use them as face wipes.
Sure.
I use them as, hygiene at the end of the night, pit wipes, undercarriage.
That's just a good solid tip for everything that I'm now going to add to my list of tips.
So, I didn't realize this, but baby wipes have plastic in them, which is how they maintain their structure or whatever. So if you bury your baby wipes, not only is an animal going to dig it up and potentially eat your plastic and your poop, but you're also littering essentially.
Sure.
So I always take baby wipes instead of toilet paper. And then, definitely I dry them out to save some weight going into the field and then just rehydrate.
Oh. You use a food dehydrator. You don't really. You use a food dehydrator for you wring them out. What do you put the used baby wipes in?
Ziploc, freezer bag. I only use Ziploc brand. I've messed around with, I'll save $1. Don't save $1.
Yeah.
There are reasons that some name brand things exist. So Ziploc brand only, freezer bag only.
Okay. Cool. So I have historically, keeping in mind that I was a backpacker for 15 years before I was a kayaker, and I've been kayaking for 20 years. Historically, I've always used toilet paper and I've always buried it, but more and more places are moving away from allowing that. And so even if you do use toilet paper, you have to pack it out. And so I know that there are products for packing it out. I don't really use any. I think I've only done it once at this point in my life and have done a Ziploc in a dry bag. Just works well. Knowles in Baja doesn't pack in toilet paper or wipes or anything. They use the Backcountry Bidet method.
Oh, yeah.
So are you familiar with it?
I am.
So essentially you use your hand, you get your hand wet, use your hand to clean yourself, and then you do a really good job washing your hands. And there are products for that. I'm a front country bidet person. And let me just say, if you're not using a bidet in the front country, you're missing out.
100%.
But I haven't tried one of the devices, backcountry bidet devices yet.
But I've got one. The Kula Clean, somebody gave it to me. It's about this big and it just fits on a smart water bottle. It works pretty good. Yeah, it's real small. You can link it or whatever.
I'll put a picture of it right here.
Yes. But it's actually somebody gifted it to me and it works pretty dang well. The only thing is I personally don't pack in smart water bottles to the.
I don't either, really. But yeah.
Yeah, so I much prefer Nalgene's and water bladders. But when I have used them, they worked really well. I will say that for just peeing, wash put some water on your hands, get in there, and then just wash your hands afterwards. Yeah. And I think that's more than sufficient.
Yeah, and this is where
I don't even do necessarily. It doesn't even have to be filtered water for me. I'm fine.
Oh no, to wash your hands no, absolutely does not have to be. Yeah. I'm gonna throw out there just from a technical point of view, washing your hands should be soap and then followed by hand sanitizer, soapy water, rinse, hand sanitizer. Hand sanitizer on its own does nothing. So just got to throw that out there for folks. Yes. Cool. Okay. The last thing I want to talk about, which was what prompted me to reach out to you. I saw on Facebook. Why was I on Facebook? Just don't go on Facebook.
It's a shit show.
Women are more likely to get attacked by a bear when they're menstruating. I then, of course, did some research. It is completely unfounded. Women are not more likely to get attacked by a bear when they're menstruating. So I'm just going to throw out one quick bear anecdote. And then I want to talk just about how you deal with menstruation in the backcountry. And the bear anecdote is this. When people say to me, I don't use deodorant because the smell will attract bears, or I don't use soap in the backcountry because the smell will attract bears, or whatever. Mm-hmm. Bears' sense of smell is so good that they can smell the cheeseburger you ate driving to the trailhead 3 days ago. It doesn't matter if you're using soap or not. Yes. So, okay. Yeah. So menstruation in the backcountry, let's talk about process.
I do just want to add that I think a lot of things are fear-based for women in the backcountry.
Yep.
Like even the bear thing, right? Like,
Yep.
don't go into the backcountry as a woman. A bear will attack you
Right.
because you're a woman. And I like, even again, I know a ton of people that use cooler cloths, and I know a ton of people that use like the shiwis and stuff like that. But like, fear sells. We are a capitalistic society, and I think a lot of people, like, I would be very interested to know how many women have spent, like, what dollar amount women have spent more than men to be in the backcountry based on the fear they've been sold. Menstruation, like, it's a little bit messier for sure than the front country. I will say, I learned that lesson the hard way, thinking when I did round 2 of the AT, so I did the AT in 2 sections. The last 6 weeks that I did that last chunk, I'd worked at REI for a while and had been introduced to the Diva Cup.
Yep.
And everybody was like, oh, it's so easy to use. I love it. And I was like, oh, well, if they can do it, I can do it. No, that is. And so I like literally, I bought it, washed it, threw it in my backpack, and then hit the trail like 2 days later. Don't do that.
Yeah.
You should practice at least 3 or 4 cycles at home with a bathtub very close.
I would imagine removing it is where it got messy.
Removing it, and then you've got to get it clean enough to reinsert it.
Okay.
I don't like sanitize it or whatever in between washes. I will like clean it with filtered water, and it's the removal and then the cleaning and then the reinsertion that gets to be messy. And so if you are squeamish about your own bodily fluids, you got to get over it, or you need to switch to a different method. I'm like in a women's backpacking group, and there was a lady who kind of mentioned, like, I don't want to get my hands dirty. Then don't do it.
Yeah.
Like, it is not for you.
Is there any reason you can't do what you do in the front country the same way in the back country? Not Diva Cup, just whatever. If you're a tampon user, if you're a pad user, do the same thing in the back country. Is there any reason that you can't just do that?
So there's no reason that you can't. But I will say that my periods are not they're like regular in the sense of like, I get like on day like 2, I have a very heavy flow. I can go through a super plus in like 2 hours. And the reason that I stick with tampons in the backcountry is because women will be aware of this, but you get like with tampons, you get a little tiny warning before the floodgates open. But with cups, with discs, sometimes women want to go to the cup or disc way so that you don't have to pack so much stuff out, right? Because like if you're going through 6 tampons a day, that's 6 that you have to pack out. But I will say that in the front country, if you have a leak or an accident or whatever, you either are at the office and you can change clothes, you are at home, you have the laundry. You don't have that luxury in the backcountry. So if you have an accident, you got to deal with that, and it's just annoying for me personally because, like I said, with the cups and the discs, there's no warning. It works, and then if it's full, it's got to go somewhere. Yeah. And I don't like that aspect in the backcountry. So you can absolutely, if you know your system and your system is perfection every single time, do it.
And then we're just packing it out the same way we pack out toilet paper or wipes or anything like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, pack it out.
Never bury that stuff.
No.
Never.
But same process. Again, hand hygiene, all that stuff. Okay. Yes,
and I will take so like when I have to go pee, poop, or whatever, because, sometimes you think you got to pee and you got to do both. I will set my pack down. I'll grab my little kit, which includes hand sanitizer, my trowel, my baby wipes, and my Nalgene. And like I carry everything all the time with me. And my Ziploc I have like 1 Ziploc. And I've seen people take a gallon Ziploc as their like hygiene trash bag
Yeah.
and just cover it in duct tape so that you don't have to look at it.
Right. What I was going to say was we all need to petition Ziploc to make an opaque Ziploc bag.
Yeah. The process is the same as like, regular baby wipes or whatever. You just pack it all out. So for sure. Oh, we didn't talk about wag bags. Or we haven't talked about
wag bags for used toilet paper, used wipes. Talk about wag bags, because I don't use them.
You haven't used a wag bag?
An actual wag bag? No.
Oh, they're great. So here in Colorado, the first time I actually used one was in the Maroon Bells. The ground was pretty much always already frozen. Also, it's a hot springs area, so you don't want people by the hot springs, right? That would be disgusting. So they do require the use of wag bags in Maroon Bells, so that just to keep everything cleaner. And that was the first time I used one.
Describe for people who don't know what a wag bag is.
So it is literally a little kit. You open it up and it has basically this big plastic bag that fits your butt in it. And you poop in it and then you pack your poop out with that. It does include toilet paper, but it's like a laughable amount of toilet paper. It's useless. Still carry baby wipes.
And does it have something like some of the portable toilets will have like a material in it that solidifies poop? Does it have something like that in it or no?
Exactly. Yeah. And like nullifies the smell a little bit. It doesn't rid it, but it's to preserve the environment, especially in like high alpine areas where or desert where your poop is not going to disintegrate for years. And it makes it so easy because you're not going to get a trowel in frozen ground. You're just not. And so instead of having piles of poop everywhere that people can't bury, if you poop on 8 inches of snow and your poop disappears into the snow, it does not disappear. No,
it's coming back when the snow melts.
Yeah, exactly. It's something we deal with on the trails up here all the time because people don't pick up their dog. If you don't pick up your dog on trails, shame on you.
I not only pick up my dog poop, I pick up other people's dog poop.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's disgusting. Yeah, wag bags are great. They make it so easy. Yeah, then you just pack it out. And I would say take another trash-specific stuff sack for that, just to help with the smell a little bit more. Yeah, they're great. They make it so easy to like preserve the environment.
Last topic you may not be aware of.
Okay.
Exercise-induced incontinence. Are you familiar with it? It's leaking urine on exertion.
Sorry. Yeah.
Right. So you go for a run and you leak a little bit of urine. Way more common in women. Way more common in older women. The reason I thought you probably weren't aware of it is I suspect you're not old enough. I think it hits a lot of people, a lot of women after they go through or when they go through menopause. The reason this came up was I was doing a chat like this with another friend of mine, Beth Hansen, who's my personal trainer, who I paddled in Alaska with, who's like ridden her bike across the country. And she and I were talking about long underwear. Neither of us, when we wear long underwear bottoms, we don't wear underwear under the long underwear bottoms.
Right, yeah.
Okay, you do not either.
I'm like literally wearing like the same thing now.
And like my thing is like, you're already wearing, it's underwear. You're already wearing underwear, right?
Yeah.
So then when we were done with the phone call, Tracy, my wife, came into the room and was like, the reason that Beth doesn't wear underwear under her long underwear, she's not dealing yet with exercise-induced incontinence, where it's good to have an additional layer. So that's just something I want to throw out there for folks. Talk to doctors about it. I'm not going to get into, because I can't right now off the top of my head, the mechanics of why it happens.
I would say talk to a pelvic floor therapist.
Yes, it is a pelvic.
Not just a doctor, because I have actually been through pelvic floor therapy because of my back. Like the whole body is intertwined. I definitely not even incontinence issues, with period stuff. I'll wear. So it all kind of goes together. Like it doesn't necessarily even have to be pee. But I have used long underwear because of the period stuff.
Cool. Okay. I think that's the last thing. What do you want to tell women watching this video about bodily functions in the backcountry? I didn't prep you for this.
That's totally okay. I would say I've seen more trouble from working at Outward Bound and seeing kiddos that didn't feel comfortable going into the backcountry and peeing and pooping and stuff like that. That you will have more issues not peeing and pooping in the backcountry. You do not want to be helivaced out of the backcountry because you are impacted because you've been too ashamed or afraid or scared or whatever to poop.
Right.
When I was in Seattle and took a shuttle over the Olympic, when I was up for Anderson, there was a lady that I was doing a backpacking trip before Anderson. This lady approached me on the bus or the ferry, and she was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just going to Olympic National Park and a backpack around." She's like, "Oh, I wish I could do that. That's so cool." And I was like, "Can you poop in the woods?" And she was like, "I think I can poop in the woods." I was like, "Then you can do it." Like, if you can get over the mental hurdle of peeing and pooping in the woods, you can do anything.
Rock and roll.
And so, your body, be your body, and go have fun.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to poop eventually. You might as well do it
someplace beautiful.
Woods.
Yeah.
The great thing about pooping in the woods is you can't flush it, like you can't back up a toilet.
There you go. Okay, I think that covers it. Thank you so much, Angie, for chatting with me today. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And
thanks.
Yeah.
Miss you, friend.
Okay, everyone, that's all I've got for this week. A longer video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something useful out of it. If you have questions, put them down below. If you found this helpful, if you learned something, if you just had fun, like I did talking to Angie, do me a favor, hit like, hit subscribe. More stuff coming, always more stuff coming. You can support the channel on Ko-fi. That's where gear lists are and stuff like that. I put a bunch of really good links down below to all the gear that we talked about if you need gear like that. In any case, go outdoors, have amazing adventures. Don't be afraid to go to the bathroom, and I'll see you outside.
Isn't your most popular blog post about how to poop in the woods?
It used to be. Oh. Yeah. No, the most popular blog post is the best breakfast on the Inside Passage.
Which was?
Pancakes with Nutella and real maple syrup and hot chocolate with Bailey's in it.
Why is that the best breakfast?
Why is that the most popular?
Well, way to judge, guys.